the recent announcement by the World Health Organization that COVID-19 is now a pandemic has gripped so much of the world in fear, obsession, and buying frenzies. You've seen that in the last 48 hours. In fact, it appears that Africa could be more ready for the coronavirus than developed nations. Socially conscious marketing agency 888 has been doing work in Africa where outbreaks and diseases are a regular occurrence here. And this has led them to become a leading healthcare marketing and behavior change agency. 888 founder Sarika joins us live on our couch this morning. She's sitting right here and she's going to chat to me about the mass mobilization project that they've launched last week. Good morning.
Hi William, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome back. I mean, last we saw you, it was International National Women's Day and you had a lot to tell us then. But right now, we're talking about the coronavirus and it has now been declared a pandemic. The whole world is in some form of a panic. What are you as 888 doing?
We are working in partnership with businesses and with governments throughout Southern Africa.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, areas where people are most vulnerable, areas like clinics, for example, or hospitals where there needs to be, much better facilities like wash hand stations.
Sure.
And also in South Africa, we're actually working taxi ranks and looking at, getting hand sanitizers into the hands of every commuter as they get onto a taxi or as they get off it.
And we were hearing the president address the nation on Sunday night, but there wasn't a clear plan with how the masses are going to be encouraged to deal with things like this. I mean, people that use trains, buses, and taxis, which is the mode of transport in South Africa, those people are hugely affected as well, and there wasn't a specific plan to talk to that. So I'm glad that you are in the taxis handing out sanitizers. What's the reception been like?
So we have a number of businesses that have already come on board to help, fund this project and to help sponsor whatever they can. But we're actually looking for more.
Okay.
And I think that, in times like this where there's a crisis of humanity, that's where, we need public-private partnerships. So we really need businesses to also come forward and assist in any way they can in partnership with government.
Why were you saying, and I was saying this in my intro, that Africa seems more readily to deal with this than other developed nations?
So 888, through our behavior change work, have actually been doing hygiene and hand washing education in Africa since 2012. And what we've done is partnered with, quite a few major global hygiene and hand washing and sanitation brands.
Okay.
And, every year what we do is conduct education both in schools and in clinics.
Okay.
So targeting children and new moms, educating them around hygiene and hand washing in order to reduce the number of infections that can spread.
All right, so moving forward, what do I as a South African need to do to be aware and just be clear of coronavirus and not be infected?
So I think that
would you give me?
It's very hard to be entirely clear of it, but there are things that we can do to reduce the risk.
Right.
And there are things that we can do to reduce the risk of our germs getting onto other people or us coming into contact with germs.
Yeah. Sarika, before I let you go, there's obviously a growing concern that in some African communities we don't have access to water. And I imagine you've got these washing stations that are set up. Where?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we are trying to mobilize very quickly, throughout Southern Africa is actually hand washing stations that don't require the use of your hands to open and close the tap or to minimize contact with the hands. So, we need to have washing hand stations set up at government clinics and public hospitals, for example, where every patient who's walking into that facility is able to wash their hands with soap and clean water.
Right.
So we've got, washing hand stations that are being, manufactured very quickly. In fact, overnight. We're actually going to be ready to mobilize them in the next week.
Okay.
And we're looking for businesses who can come forward and put funding towards that.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of companies that have corporate social responsibility funding. Now's the time for us to be, digging into those funds and actually using it to, save humanity from a massive crisis.
How do we get in touch with you?
Please go onto our website. It's www.888.co.za. Our office number is also 011-4630-888.
Thank you so much for teaching me something I didn't know. I've learned something. I need to now watch the top of my hands and between my fingers. Sarika Modi represents 888 and has been chatting to you and I about just clean hygiene and the work they're doing in the communities with hand washing stations as well.